Is this what I think it is? Are they where I think they are? And I believe that I am correct. Hello, everybody. He's having feelings. Hi. Welcome to this week's video. Hold on, let me find a place to sit you down. Why did I think holding this was a good idea? I don't know. I'm sitting on the floor. First of all, I got little crochet hook keychain plushie. It's from Big Twist. I went to Joann's because they're going out of business to pick up some yarn just to see what they had. You can see the Hello Kitty Wooble kit that I also bought, and I got it and I put it on my cane. So I have a little crochet hook buddy. I think I like the name Pathias. It's a bit of a strange name, but if you watched my last video, you know I am a Game Theorist fan, a GT Live fan. So Pathias, if you are also a fan of that, might ring a bell. Yes, I named my crochet hook after the Amish alter ego of MatPat. You can't stop me. I just realized the curtains look weird. We're not moving. It wants attention. This week's video is going to be an undertaking. We are doing a 24-hour read-a-thon. I'm exhausted already just thinking about it. So this is actually going to be my second attempt. Attempt being the key word. In Vlogmas, if you were here for that, I attempted a read-a-thon and it went horribly wrong. Basically, I did the for 24-hour method, not the in 24-hour method. So if you've never seen a read-a-thon before, you have no idea what I'm talking about. A read-a-thon is essentially where you dedicate 24 hours of your life to literally just reading. A lot of people do this to get through a TBR. That was my purpose back in Vlogmas, because I had quite a stack of books that I had gotten from the holidays and I wanted to get through them. I don't have that now. So because I had so many books I wanted to get through, I thought trying the reading for 24-hour method would be good. So the way you do that is you start a 24-hour timer or a stopwatch and you only time your reading time. So if you were reading, you would start the timer or start the stopwatch, and whenever you stopped or whenever you could be reading but you weren't, whenever you stopped reading, you would stop the timer and you go until it hit 24 hours. So I made it doing this method about 12 hours, I think, if I remember right. Yeah, I think about 12 hours, and I completely crashed. And that was for a few reasons. One, almost all of my books were physical books, which were extremely difficult for me because it just hurt my hands to hold a book for that long. Staying with the fact that they were physical books, I had to sit to read them with my chronic illnesses. Sitting for long periods of time can become very painful, so I kind of have to go between sitting and standing and sitting and walking around, usually just by feel. When I start to feel a little achy, I'll get up and I'll walk around until the achy's gone. Yeah, very scientific. So yeah, I had to sit for a lot of that, which I thought was okay because I wasn't doing super well, because the second biggest thing was I had 2 allergic reactions in a row during that time. So I was going through it. Yeah, 2 allergic reactions and a flare-up and my period all at once led to a disaster, basically. Walking into this one, I have a few new things I'm going to do. First of all, I'm relying more on audiobooks this time around. That way I can either sit or I could walk around while these things are happening. I only have 1 physical book, and that's just because it's the book that I'm reading right now and I just want to finish it. I'm relying more on audiobooks, and I am doing the for 24-hour method. So the difference between this, no, the in 24-hour method, that's the one that I do, not the for. So instead of setting a timer or anything, you can see behind me, my clock, I will be starting at 12:30 today. So I will be reading from 12:30 p.m. today to 12:30 p.m. tomorrow, which is Monday. And I'm just going to read whatever I can read. My goal for this is to just finish it because I didn't finish last time. So I'm hoping that with this, I'll have a better idea of how I do 24-hour readathons. But also, I hope that this video can show a more accessible way of doing it because, like I said before, I had such a hard time last time, and that's kind of like, I think I said this in that video, but whenever I do challenges like this, I do my best to make it accessible from the start. But sometimes you get into it and you realize this was not made with disabled, chronically ill people in mind. And so you have to kind of adjust what you do. So I hope if you are disabled, chronically ill, and you want to do a 24-hour readathon, this video kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of how that works. So, what time is it? I have about 5 minutes before it starts. So I'm going to fill up my water, get in a comfy spot. Oh, let me show you what I'm starting with. So this is the book I'm currently reading. It's the Sunbearer Trials. This is a duology, and I have to admit something. I bought and fully read the second book before I read this one. This is the first book in the duology. So I actually already know how this whole story ends. So that's my bad. But I'm still enjoying it very much. I highly recommend it if you like gods fantasy stuff. This is about the boy on the cover here. His name's Theo, and he is currently going through the Sunbearer trials with his friends Naya and Zio. You can see some of the art on the inside. They've gone through 2 trials so far that I've read. It's going better than expected. Theo is actually trans, and so is Zio in this book, which is fun. Yeah, I've very much been enjoying my time with this. You can see I have little stickies. I put little stickies every 20-ish pages because I read about 20 pages in 30 minutes. So I like putting little stickies. It makes it feel like a game. Yeah, I have 7 stickies left, so I have about 3.5 hours to get through. So that's what we're going to be starting with. I also want to show off before we get started. This is my e-reader. I don't remember if I've shown this on here before. I've posted some short videos of it, but this is the Books Go 6. I liked this one because it has a more traditional tablet interface than other e-readers. It just felt less intimidating, personally. I know the Books Go Color 7, the one with the buttons, is really popular right now. Heard a lot of great things. I've had this for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I very much love it. I got a case for it. I put a bunch of stickers, and I got a Stitch pop socket for it. So I have an ebook ready to go for this challenge, 2 audiobooks, and the physical book. So I think I will get through 2 books, and that's only because I'm almost done this book. I feel pretty good about my odds. I literally have a minute. So 12:30 p.m. I will probably check in. I need to eat at like 2:30. That's another thing with this challenge. I eat every 2 to 3 hours. So I pause a lot more than most people. I think that was another thing with the last time was I just had to pause more because I had to do things. So that's, I think, why this method is going to work better for me. Yes, now I'm going to fill up my water bottle, get in a comfy spot, and I will check in at 2:30 when I am taking a break to eat to let you know how things are going. I'll be back.
And here. And want some kaju. I know you want your attention. May I speak? Thank you. Okay, we got the baby now. So, it has been about 2 hours. It's 2:30 now.
I have read about another 40 pages, and we are cruising. I just had a bit of a snack. I'm not super hungry today, so I just had a bar. Got a cup of tea. I'm not gonna grab it because I don't want to spill it on thin, but I have a cup of tea. And we are doing fairly well. I'm thinking I should finish this sometime this evening, is my guess. Because I just ate, so I'll need to stop again by at least 5:30. We'll see. We will see. It's interesting reading this. I'm at so there are a total so during the trials, there's a total of 5 trials in 5 different cities. I'm currently in the 4th of the 5th, and having read the second book already, there's a moment I don't want to give spoilers, but there's a moment with Zio where I read it and I just kind of paused. Is like, is this what I think it is? Are they where I think they are? And I believe that I am correct, but we will see. Finn has feelings because he wants attention, and I keep reading. He's going to his spot. There's a blanket folded at the end of my bed. It's nice and soft and fluffy. It's one of his favorite places to lay on his own. So that's where he is. Yeah, this is my little chicken. Things are going well. I don't really have much else to say. I will check in later. I don't know if I'll finish it before dinner, but if not, I'll either check in when I finish the book or around dinner before I go. One thing I like about doing this method is I can just get up and do things and not feel guilty. Because one of the things in the last time I did this was when I would get up and just eat or like go say hi to my mom, I had this like voice in the back of my head being like, "You should be reading. You're doing the thing. You should be reading." It's like, no, I'm taking a break, which is fair to do. I don't need to be reading. I am getting food. I am getting me and my mom a cup of tea, and we are talking because I like to talk to my mom, and I'm going to do that because it brings me joy. And this is meant to be a joyful experience. So that's been really nice. Just a lot less pressure, especially because my only goal is to finish. Which, well, I guess I do have a goal of finishing this book specifically. So both of those feel very accomplishable, manageable, whatever the right word is. Alright, I'll see you later. I've yapped enough. I want to read some more because I actually really want to know what happens. So I'll be back. It's what I saw you when you come up on your bed. Why are you being such a meanie butt? Hold on. This is my dinner, not yours. Hello. So it is actually about 4:30, not 5:30. I did not finish the book. I got about damn much left. About almost exactly 400 pages in this book, and I'm on page 347. So I got about 60 pages left. So we're almost done. Again, doing my best to keep spoilers for the when I've truly finished the book, so it's just like one section of the video. Having read the second book first, a lot of things are very apparent. Things that are happening, realizations. You're very invested. Realizations that the characters are coming to right now that is like, oh, I know how this goes because I already read it. Still makes me feel a bit silly for reading the second book first, but hey, that's just how it worked out. So, hopefully, I will be finished in an hour, maybe two. But we are taking a dinner break. I am eating. We call them quesadillas. They're really not. It's cheese and turkey air fried between two tortillas to get it melty. So, certainly nothing traditional, just food that is easy to make and low effort, as well as ginger ale. That's what's in here. I swear, that's not like me being like, oh, this is like actual alcohol. I do not drink. I am technically old enough to. Just with my conditions, it's not the safest. This is literally a ginger ale lollipop. You can see the can behind me. That's what it is. I just put it in here to feel fancy. That is my dinner. They are just about to walk into the fifth and final trial. Again, I know the winners, so I'm just excited to see how it goes. I'm not like who's gonna win. I know who wins because I accidentally spoiled myself. But I'm okay with spoilers actually. But hopefully this means that I do get this book finished and I can start on my audiobook tonight, which will be nice because I liked that I did this today. Because yesterday we did a big shopping day. We went all the way to Portland. So I was out all day with my mom, which was very fun. But it means that I definitely needed a sit down, do nothing day, which was perfect because it means I can actually sit for longer periods of time because my body needs the rest. So instead of needing to move like every hour or so, I can actually sit for like 2-3 hours and be okay. Obviously, I have been getting up and moving around, going to say hi to my mom, making food. I am listening to my body in that sense. But I am very glad to know that I'll be on my audiobooks tomorrow and later tonight. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm definitely going to need to move around a little bit more. I can start feeling it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a reading break, not just film this, but I'm going to watch some YouTube videos, just kind of chill, eat my dinner, see how I'm feeling. Probably get back to the book, read the final section. I'll do a check in when that happens to do the spoiler review of this book. Well, I'll do a mini one because I do plan at the end of the month to do a quarterly roundup, and that will include all the books I've read so far this year. I'll do one of those kind of videos every 3 months. So, a much larger review will be going on then. If you want to see it sooner, you can follow me on TikTok. I'll post a review this week or next week about it. So, yeah, I will eat this, finish reading, and I will probably check in when I finish that book, do a little review, talk about the next book I will be listening, reading, and we'll go from there. Cheers. It is now 7 o'clock. So, what's that? 2.5 hours later? My cup's falling. But, we have finally finished the Sunbearer Trials. I think I've kind of decided in my head I'm going to hold off on a spoiler filled review. If you want to know the spoilered version, or you've already read it and want to know my thoughts, subscribe, and I will be posting a video in about a week or two. I think more like 2. So after that video where my mic died, I've been trying to pay attention more to the light of the thing plugged into my phone because that actually tells me if the mic's working or not. Yeah, in like 2 weeks, I will be doing a review of all the books I've read so far this year, and this will obviously be in it. Overall, I really liked it. I definitely think if you read it in order, it is very fun. It is, I think there's a lot of twists and turns, and I think it's one of those stories where you're going to read the first book, be totally shocked by the ending, get to the second, realize a bunch of things, and like all throughout the second book, you're going to be like, that's why that happened? That's what that meant? Oh my god, I didn't realize. And you would almost want to go back and reread this book just to be like, it was foreshadowing the whole time, which I guess is an experience I got to have reading them out of order. But that means I get to pick between audiobook and ebook, and I think I will be going with the audiobook because I don't know if I'm going to finish it tonight. I do read on like 1.5 speed. It won't take as long as it says. It says it's about 12 hours, and at 1.5 speed, that'll be more like 7 or 8. And I don't know how long I'm actually going to be listening to it. So, we'll see. Oh, what book is it? Hold on. I know the name of the book, I just don't know the author, so hold on, let me go look. It's Offside by Kaylee Leane? Leon? I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name, but it's that book. So yeah, I am going to listen to that, but I need to not be in this bed anymore. I have been here long enough. So what I think I'm gonna do is I literally think I'm gonna lay on the floor. I have a few shorts of me like laying on the floor with my feet up to help my back because my back will seize up sometimes, and the best way to help it, because it's my lower back specifically, is to lay with my feet like up on the bed. I'll try and show you, but yeah, so I'm probably gonna lay like that and start the book and just kind of chill. I have a crochet project I want to start. Not the Woobles kit that I talked about at the beginning, because that's a video tutorial. And I like listening to the videos. That's gonna take like too much away from the audiobook, I think, so I'm not gonna do the Wooble thing. I'm gonna start a different one. Or maybe not. My back really hurts. The idea of starting a crochet project where I'm like hunched over because I have like the worst posture when I do it. I don't know. It hurts. I feel the pain already, and I'm just thinking about it. So maybe not a crochet project, but I'm at least gonna take advantage of this being an audiobook and move around and not be stuck in this bed. I'm going to lay on the. Oh, yeah. Let me show you what I mean when I say I lay on the floor. This is what I mean. I have a clip in my hair, so this isn't the most comfortable. But I literally lay with my feet like up on the bed. Like it's like the opposite of dangling off your bed. I am laying completely flat on the floor, but at my hips, my legs are up and then bent at the knees, and then my feet and the rest of my leg are on the bed. If that makes sense. So yeah, I'm gonna lay like this for my back, listen to an audiobook, and just chill. Finn hates when I lay like this because he knows it means I'm in pain. So right now he's like freaking out on the bed. I don't know if you can see him. Start book number 2. Oh, I have to get to you now. Oh, I didn't think this through. Ow. Good morning. It is the next day. It's actually almost 11. I've just been literally laying in bed for like the last hour. So I meant to check in again last night before bed about the audiobook, but I was so engrossed in it, which happens with me with audiobooks, that the next thing I knew, my smart lights were turning off, it was dark, and I was already going to bed. Also, my fan's going, you can hear that. So yeah, I ended up staying up till like 1 a.m. last night listening to this book, because I wanted to know what happened. So I slept in quite a lot, which I gave myself permission to do today. I had a feeling with the book that I chose, because you're gonna get this angle because my arm hurts. With audiobooks, I tend to completely lose track of time. So I had a very good feeling that I was just gonna get lost. And the next thing I knew, it was gonna be very early in the morning. And I was right, and that's exactly what happened. So I slept in. My hair is greasy and gross, so it's up in a very messy bun. So yeah, I even listened to it a little bit already this morning. My brain isn't fully on, but with it being pretty much 11, that means that it's already almost the end of the 24 hours, which means that I did it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to continue listening to my audiobook. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get dressed, I'm gonna get some breakfast, and I'm guessing that by the time I finish my coffee and everything, it will be the end of the 24 hours or pretty close. I picked an audiobook because I thought, because if I did end up going to bed at a reasonable time last night, I would wake up early enough that I would listen to it while I did my workout and all of those things. That didn't happen. I mean, I still might listen to it while I do this workout because I just like the story that much. Alright, I'm gonna go and do that. Also, my throat hurts, so I'm gonna go get dressed and everything, and I will check in probably at 12:30 to wrap up the end of this video. And with that, we have now officially hit the 24-hour mark. That means I did it! Yes! We actually completed it this time. I did end up reading one books. I guess technically I've gotten about halfway through India. What were your thoughts on the Read-A-Thon? Not much to say. Like, what are you talking about? You just sat and stared at a book. Yes, I ended up finishing the Sunbury Trials and I got about halfway through Offset, and I was already halfway done with the Sunbury Trials, so I guess I maybe just read like one book. But hey, one book is better than no books. Like I said at the beginning, my goal for this was not a specific amount of books read, it was actually just to complete the 24 hours. We did it. You know something funny? I got some new books this morning. Me and my mom share a thrift books account, and we had some money off, and my mom decided that I could get some books, so they arrived this morning, which made me laugh. If anybody wants to know, I got What If It's Us by Becky Alberto and Adam Silvera. And then I got P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly. But I wanted to end this video kind of talking about what I kind of learned from this, especially if you are disabled and want to do this challenge. Just some things to keep in mind. First of all, number one is if you're going to attempt this for the first time, definitely do a within 24-hour version of this like I did for this video. It just left a lot more flexibility for me. Like, I didn't feel bad if I needed to get up and stretch, if my brain was kind of like, I need a break, so I went to go just talk to my family, to just take a step away when I needed to. It was also just nice because I could incorporate more things that were more accessible, like audiobooks. I definitely think that this challenge, having audiobooks, is, unless you are going and you're definitely going to have a dedicated, like, no interruptions time, then audiobooks maybe aren't necessary, but I definitely think they are very helpful. But if you're not going to use audiobooks, definitely make sure that you know you're going to need to pause a little bit more, especially if you don't want to, like, destroy your books. But audiobooks were definitely the most accessible for me, especially last night. I was able to completely get myself ready for bed and stick to my routine, which anybody with a disability or chronic illness can tell you. Routine is very important. Making sure that I could still do that routine meant that I could still have a good day today once this video is wrapped up and I can move on to more things. I still feel like I can have a full day and I'm not, like, out of sorts. So relying more on audiobooks was definitely a win. It's funny because the Sunbear Trials, I tried to get through it the best I could before this video because I really wanted to do a mostly audiobook, maybe my one ebook that I bought, because of the problem with my hands the last time I attempted this. And my hands definitely hurt, and I definitely had to take a break. But the thing with doing it with the within version and not the 4 was that I didn't feel nearly as guilty when I needed to stop. Because whenever I would stop and I would need to either pause the timer, well, when I needed to pause the timer, I didn't feel as bad. But when I would stop because I was in pain, it made me feel really crappy. It made me feel like I was failing. And that wasn't something that this challenge was meant to be. It was meant to be a fun thing to try and get through. That sucked. But doing it this way, whenever I needed to pause because my hands hurt, because it did happen a few times where I just kind of needed to take a second and just kind of massage my wrists or reposition myself so I could prop the book up a different way. I didn't feel bad about that. Oh, I also didn't feel bad for sleeping. That was a weird thing. So I ended up last time stopping it before I went to sleep. But for some reason, last time, the idea of having to pause in between sleeping stressed me out. That might have just been a me thing. But with my chronic illnesses, I've found that sleep, especially pushing more toward like a 10-hour sleep every night, is actually really helpful for me. And I tend to do a lot better the next day when I get more sleep. Hence why I tend to sleep in, especially today I made sure I slept in. But it meant that I wasn't awake for as many hours, so I wouldn't be able to read for as many hours. Like other people that do this, that will stay up and just take a really short nap and then get right back to reading. That wasn't something I was going to be able to do, and I knew that. And so I felt really crappy for trying to get through a 24-hour method when I had to sleep for such a long time. I definitely think if I did that version again, I would actually give myself more like 3 days to complete it instead of two. That way I could get full nights of rest in between, and it would just honestly, I'd probably do it for just until I hit 24 hours. So, three, I don't know, maybe even 4 days if I didn't do the math. I don't know how long it would actually take. And that's kind of what I would do if I was doing that method. But honestly, I don't think I'd do that method again because this was like a fun little thing. Like, I got to spend my Sunday off, semi off camera because I did film, but I didn't post to any social medias. Social medias. Like, I didn't post any TikToks or anything on Instagram. I really just kind of spent the time off my phone, which I've been trying to do more, is have like at least one dedicated day in the week to none of that, just so I can kind of reset in my own self, which has been very helpful. So, yeah, that's what I did yesterday. I didn't really post anything. That way I could just kind of sit, and I ended up spending it reading with all of you. My brain is short circuiting this morning. This is fun. I think that is more or less my signal to wrap up this video. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have done a 24-hour readathon, please let me know what you read, what you thought, what your experience was. I would love to know. On screen now are my social media handles if you'd like to see more day-to-day things that I get up to. And with that, I will see you next week for a brand new video.